What's happening, Panda Nation? Peter Von Panda here. With this, you can listen to your music and hear everything around you. I love bone conduction headphones. They're really clever. I wish that maybe they were, I don't know, slightly less audible to people near you. It's just kind of the way they work. They basically press against your cheekbones and vibrate it, and that's that vibration that's conducted through the bone conduction into your, I guess, your ear canals. Now, I really have liked a lot of these, and this is what the cheapest set of bone conduction headphones I could find, and they looked pretty good. And I have a giant size head, so kind of take that into account. Some of them are a little tight on my head, but that's not any fault of the bone conduction. It's just that they're catering to 99.9% of the market. What was really interesting on these is that they have a nice look. We kind of have this flexible wire around the back. It's covered up here. It looks like all the electronics and the batteries are in this side. Tayogo, the name of it. And then right here we have, looks like, I don't know, a little indicator or button. And then on this side, on the right side, is where we'll have everything else. So we'll have a little flap here, micro USB to charge it, plus minus, volume in advance, power button right there. And then you can see here we have a little loop that goes over your ear, and then you have a little rubberized pad right here. That's going to go in front of your ear and press right against kind of the cheekbone. And that's what we got. We also have a little accessory box. I guess there's nothing else in here. So I think you just power that on and pair these little suckers. Let's see what else comes with. Like I said, for about 30 bucks, it's pretty nice because a lot of bone conduction starts at like 80 bucks. So we also have earbuds and the micro USB cable. The best thing about these, though, is the safety factor and the, I don't know, being able to kind of monitor your surroundings, whether it's for safety or not. So one of the things that I use these for is when I'm out, snow blowing or things like that, or working in the yard, I'll have these on there in case someone's yelling and calling me. If you're a jogger or a biker, you should use these so you can hear cars approaching, that type of thing. I also use them for work. When I am doing like a webcast, I will put these on and I will have like my microphone in front of me. That way, if I'm sitting around with other people, I can still hear them, if we're doing a podcast or recording a conversation, but also hear the people online, so that, it's not coming through headphones, so I'm not biased one way or the other. So I'm going to get these suckers paired up and see what we think about them. Oh, it looks like there's a little button there, play pause as well. That's pretty cool on this side. Awesome. All right, so I've been playing around with these, and as you can see, even though I've got a giant head, I can still get a couple fingers behind the back loop here. So, these are going to fit everyone, and there's no adjustability. Some of these have like an additional rubber strap so that you can kind of slide it to get nice, a comfortable, secured purchase on your head. This doesn't have it, but they're pretty tight, and so I haven't had any problems with this, and I've been kind of busting around with them. Now, I will say there are a couple things to keep in mind. So I did pair it to my iPhone, and that's worked pretty well. I will say that, like all bone conduction, the audio quality is more for practicality than it is for like pure enjoyment, especially on music, because it's kind of vibrating your bone here a little bit. What ends up happening is it's just not a really clear high fidelity sound. That's just the nature of all bone conduction, but it works just fine. And especially if you're working out, jogging, that kind of stuff, biking, whatever it might be, it's usually good enough, right? But obviously an in-ear earbud or something is going to be much higher quality. Now, the other thing I will say is that the Bluetooth connection to my phone was less than stellar. Not that it ever lost connection, but what I noticed is that if I put the phone in my pocket, and I think because the controls over here, my guess is the Bluetooth receiver is on this side. So when my phone was on the pocket on this side, I never had any connection problems. But as soon as I put it in this pocket, there would be times when it would start to get a little grainy, like the connection wasn't perfect. You'd get a little bit of that in and out. So I think the fact that my body is between the connection here and that it's generally not on this side, it's just one of those things that you want to keep in mind, that you want to keep your phone on this side. So I'm not sure if it's Bluetooth low energy or something like that, or why the connection isn't quite as strong as some of the other Bluetooth devices that I've used, but that is the way it is. Now, the other thing I want to say here is that you get sound leakage with all bone conduction headphones. So what I'm going to do here is just play a little Nicky Jam, and I've got it kind of on medium volume right now, and I'm gonna let it play as I'm talking because I want to see if you can hear it. The camera is about 3 feet away from me right now. This is probably a little quieter than I would prefer to listen to, and if I were out doing something, I'd probably jack the sound up a little more to kind of overcome the ambient noise. But the cool thing is I can still hear things. Now, if I crank the volume up, and I also kind of want to be a little quiet here, this is probably a little louder than I would listen to it, but basically I want you to see if you can hear it. All right, not sure if you can hear that or not. It's not cranked up all the way. If I crank it all the way up, I can feel it. It's kind of tickling me. So one of the things, and I bring that up because you're getting a little sound leakage, it's one of those things where you can't just put in a pair of earbuds, go to the office, go to the library, study, read, that kind of stuff, and have perfect privacy and no one can hear you. You actually might be disturbing people in really quiet environments. Now, if you're riding the train to work or something like that, there might be enough ambient noise that it's not a problem. Someone sitting right next to you might be able to hear it, but it's one of those ways that you can still hear like what stop you're at or how much longer you have or if there's something else going on or commotion on the train. So it's kind of a little bit like I'm torn because I want that open ear benefit, but I also want to kind of keep everything private, right? So that's kind of the pro con of it. It's not perfect at either thing. You can always put in one earbud and just listen out of the other ear too, but that's not perfect either. But I really love these overall. Like I said, I use them for not only just being outside, but also for work, you know, Zoom conference calls, those types of things too. So they're pretty cool. And at this price point, I am thrilled with these headphones. They are fantastic for $30-ish. So probably my favorite set that I've ever checked out at this price point. If you want to pick them up, I'll put a link to them in the description below. Peter Von Panda, out.